Welcome to U.S. History. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about Veterans Day. Veterans Day is one of 11 national holidays that the United States recognizes. It is usually held on November 11th, unless it falls on a Sunday, and then it gets celebrated on the following Monday. Veterans Day is celebrated on November 11th because World War I ended on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. Just a quick overview of World War I. You'll learn more about World War I as a freshman in U.S. history class, but it began in 1914 in Europe and lasted until 1918. You'll learn it was set off by the assassination of someone called the Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria, and it included a lot of people, including 60 million Europeans. Just a note on the bottom there, the last 2 years of the World War I was also when the Spanish flu pandemic had circled the globe or encompassed the globe, and sort of like the coronavirus is now. We've studied the Spanish flu earlier and compared that to the coronavirus. So not only did they have World War I going on, the last 2 years they had a Spanish flu pandemic. The countries that were involved mostly in Europe in this World War I, the Central Powers, okay, you had Germany, Austria-Hungary, Bulgaria, and then you had the Allied forces. These were Great Britain, England, France, Serbia, and Russia. Okay, so they had gone to war with each other. So this is kind of where Europe is, continent of Europe. The United States. Now the war started in 1914. The United States got dragged into the war in 1917, and the reason why, primarily, was there were several German U-boats that would sink our trade ships that we were sending over to Europe. So we finally felt we had to come into the war. Now, World War I becomes the most destructive war at this time period, mostly because a lot of weapons of destruction were introduced that hadn't been used before on a large scale. Okay? The earliest tank models were made and put into production and used during the war, even though they were crude models. The German U-boats, as we said, sank a lot of ships that were trade ships. Also, with the Industrial Revolution taking hold, guns were able to be mass produced, and also you'll learn next year, it's kind of hidden there, we'll talk about this, chemical weapons were used on a large scale for the first time, and also airplanes. Okay, you have like the Red Baron, I see those type of things as kind of a fun thing growing up, but planes were actually used in World War I for the first time. So you had a lot of these factors coming together to lead to a lot of destruction. Here's what the gas mask kind of looked like. Okay, you can see here they're in the trenches. This is they would have nerve gas. This person flying in here in World War I is a young Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler served for Germany in World War I. He was affected by nerve gas, didn't die, but it left some definitely disabilities with him. And of course, if you've heard of Adolf Hitler, he went on to rule Germany and began World War II. This is a closer up picture of the people. You can see their masks, the chemical masks that they have to wear. And you'll learn next year about the trench warfare that they had where they dug trenches and stood in it. It wasn't very good or very clean. There was a movie a couple years ago called 1917, if you ever want to learn about World War I. Very well done movie. Okay, gives you some insight into World War I. So what happens is at the end of World War I, Germany surrendered, and they signed what's called an armistice agreement, which is a peace agreement. So Veterans Day was first known as Armistice Day. Okay, and here's just a picture of them, signing the peace treaty. In 1926, Congress passed something called an annual observance for November 11th to recognize Armistice Day, and we began calling it a national holiday in 1938. In 1954, then President Dwight D. Eisenhower officially changed the name from Armistice Day to Veterans Day. And what the reason for that was, and there's a picture here on the right-hand side of Dwight D. Eisenhower signing this. So Armistice Day celebrated the veterans of World War I. What Veterans Day was going to honor are all veterans of foreign wars, okay? So in all branches of the military, okay? So, as it's proceeded over the years, each Veterans Day Memorial Day is celebrated at a place called Arlington National Cemetery. If you ever get a chance, or have ever got a chance to go to watch the changing of the guard at our Arlington National Cemetery in Washington, D.C., it's a pretty spectacular thing to observe. As of now, there's over 400,000 people who are interned there that served in the military. So this would be an example of, this was President Barack Obama, President Trump has done this. They go on November 11th, and they take part in a ceremony. And again, it's usually at 11 o'clock. Okay, that's when the armistice was signed to end World War I. And there's just some pictures of Arlington National Cemetery. One of the events at Arlington National Cemetery is the changing of the guard at the Tombs of the Unknown Soldiers. These are 4 soldiers that have been brought back from different parts of the world that have served in various capacities in foreign wars. There is a difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day. Memorial Day we celebrate at the end of May. This is a day to remember and honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice. They died while serving our military. And Veterans Day is a day to show appreciation to those who have served in our military and are still living. Okay. Also, we celebrate Veterans Day, but since it was a World War One war, it was a world war, and many countries in Europe were also involved in it. Great Britain, France, Australia, and Canada also celebrate Veterans Day. They call it Remembrance Day, and they celebrate it with red poppy flowers. Okay, they celebrate the second Sunday in November. You can see some of the flowers here. Okay, the red poppies that they'll place on grave sites. And this is a little tweet here. Remember, observe 2 minutes of silence at 11 a.m. So it's just not the United States that celebrates this. It's the European countries as well. And it's at the same time. The 11th day, okay, of the month, the 11th month, okay, the 11th hour, 11th day, 11th month. Okay, so that's a little bit about Veterans Day. If you know a veteran or see a veteran, please remember to thank them for their service. Okay, thank you very much. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.